Welcome to the Rational Review. We got some immigration stuff we're going through today. Let's see what kind of rabbit hole we can fall down. Ace breaking the news. We got a warrant.
Marshall!
Come on now, walk to me. Walk out to us now. Walk out.
Can we see the warrant? Can we see the warrant?
We want to see the warrant.
Step out.
We want to see the
Step
warrant.
out.
No, we want to see the warrant.
Step out.
We want to see the warrant.
It's an arrest warrant. You'll see it after.
No, we want to see it before you guys come in. We want to see the warrant. No, we want to see the warrant.
Get out.
You heard them. They said, we have an arrest warrant. Step out. You'll see it after you come out. Yeah, see, he even said that's not how it works. You can't ask for the warrant before we arrest you. Because that's not how it works. You get arrested and then you're shown the warrant. And your lawyer's shown the warrant. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to be like, oh yeah, no, they're just breaking into people's homes.
I'm recording you guys too. Let me see your badge number. No. Let me see. No, we need to see your warrant.
Here comes the woman. No, just get out of here. Just walk out.
Let's go. Don't touch me. We need to see the warrant. We need to touch me.
Turn around and stay there. Thank you.
You guys can't come in like that. I want to see the warrant.
That they're like, no, you can't come in. Let's see the warrant. Yeah, they don't want them coming in searching for somebody else. See, they weren't there for the women. They were there for some dude. There's some dude there that they're after. This is something I've been seeing a lot on social media. Is people trying to tell other people where ICE is, what cities to avoid, stuff like that. It's kind of...
Guys, I can tell you right now, all those ICE raids that's going on over in Los Angeles is not good. And I'm going to tell you why it's not good. Because what we are watching on national television unfold right before our very eyes with the military. Now, as of today, Tuesday, June 10th, they called in the National Guards on top of 500 to 700 Marines on the ground. Not to mention the 2,000 troops that was deployed there Sunday.
Yeah,
on
this is
top
kind of
of
old.
the helicopter bringing in
This is a little old. This is
multiple
about a month
additional
ago.
weapons with more ammunition.
I'm
Windows
on
being
July
broken out of
1st,
cars,
so that's like almost
windows
a month
being
ago.
smashed, police officers being, drummed to the ground, people being boom, boom, drummed to the ground. You guys think that this is bad, guys? This is actually about to take place in other places like Texas. Right now, there are protests going on in Texas. Right now, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there are protests going on in Texas right now. So everything that's going on in California, that's just one of the places, one of their number one staging places where they started the raids at. Now they're coming over to Texas. They're going to be over to all of the big states, and then they're going to filter down to the smaller cities and states, guys. ICE is not playing, guys. Listen, get yourself legit. If you are not going to be legit, know that ICE is coming to a city or state near you. If you have to hide.
Coming to a city or state near you. Yeah, I couldn't listen anymore. It's just going over the same stuff. Hide, get out, something. It's like, come on. It's just always, what do you expect? Where the ICE have to go is where a lot of these protests are, because the protests are happening in these areas, because that's where a lot of illegals are. Only kind of makes sense. I'm just saying. This one might be interesting. This should be illegal. It's talking about how 3.4 billion tax dollars are going to be going to, I guess, illegal immigrant facilities or whatever. Let's see what he has to say.
This is the most evil thing that our government's doing right now, and not a single soul is talking about it, and it should upset you. Families are being ripped apart, and CEOs are cashing in, and it should be illegal.
It should be illegal? Which parts? Illegal immigration? Or us actually having facilities instead of just a great big fenced in area where you throw everybody into. Because that's how we could do it for cheaper. We could just throw them all in a big field with a big fence around it, and be like, ha ha ha, you're on your own until we deport you. They could do that. I mean, that'd be inhumane. That'd be cruel. That'd be crazy. But paying for places to keep the illegals while you process them and give each one the due diligence that you need to do is wrong. Right.
But right now, over 90% of the people being detained by ICE aren't in government facilities. They're locked up.
Yeah, because there's no room. There's no room. It's always these guys that don't realize. It's always the people that speak out, the Americans that speak out about illegal immigration, saying, oh, it's wrong that we should be deporting all these people, blah, blah, blah. We should have open borders, stuff like that. But it's like, really? It's like, y'all don't realize what your lives would be like if we opened our borders like Biden did for the next 10, 15 years. Or even worse, if we just gave citizenship to everybody that came in. Here's a citizenship, here's citizenship, here's citizenship to every single person that came in. How many millions? We'd have like, what? I don't know, let's say 300 million more people coming into this country. You know what that would do to this country? Eventually, they'd be taxing us more and more and more until we all became poor and quit our jobs, and we all just started living like outlaws. And then he who has the might is right, and we don't have a government to take care of us anymore, so people could come rob us. And the only way you could do anything about it is if you're bigger and stronger, which means you have more guns, you have more guys. Yeah, that's the way it would eventually go. That's why they say, that's why Elon Musk and says, like, no, the government declares bankruptcy. I mean, what do you think happens after that? You think people in our government are just going to keep going to work if they don't get paid because there's no money? No, they're not going to do that. And then we'll have no government. The cops won't be getting paid, so they won't go to work. And then all the criminals will be out in full force. And a lot of the other people that were like, no, I'm only good because there's laws, would be out there too. And then you'd be having other people fighting against those people. We would have a giant, like, civil war, but there wouldn't be really that many different sides. I don't think there would be a lot of sides. It'd be more like everybody for themselves. And that's not the type of life that they want. They just don't follow what they want to the end conclusion. It's like, I get if you're just on the side of people that have been here 20, 30 years illegally. Okay, I understand that. But opening the border and just letting people keep doing this? Come on. That's a little too far. That's crazy. That'd turn America into a third world country really quick.
In 4 prison systems run by companies like Geo Group and Core Civic. These corporations are making billions of dollars a year. In 2022 alone, under the Biden administration, they made over $1.6 billion from ICE contracts.
1.6 billion from ICE contracts. This is a normal thing the government does to start with. And yeah, Biden was doing it too. He's probably going to say Trump spent way more. But what are we supposed to do? Either it would just not deport people, just let anybody in, or are we supposed to just close them down? And after that, hey, let's close down the jails too. All them guilty murderers and rapists and stuff in prison. No, we don't need to keep them locked up. No, we just let them roam around with everybody else.
For 2025, Donald Trump's done a great job at creating profit. You could say concentrated profit for these corporations. Geo Group is projected to pull in $2.5 billion. Core Civic, around $2 billion. This isn't about public safety. This is about capitalism, profiting off of human suffering. This is going to upset everyone.
I want to see if this is really profit or if this is just the amount paid. I think this is the amount paid, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was all profit because, yeah, the contracts they give out, the profit that these entities get is just insane. I mean, I mean, they'll pay what, $100,000 to a company for a job that should only cost 5,000. Why? Because it's a government contract, so they're just going to pay a ton more. It's crazy. That's another part of America that definitely needs to be fixed, is overpaying the private contractors and companies and stuff. But also, we need to stop just giving money to places. I mean, like even universities. Why are we giving billions to a university so they can force us to have to get a loan to go to the university? It's crazy.
Everyone, Democrats and Republicans. You are the one paying for it. Taxpayers are footing a $3 to $3.5 billion yearly bill to fund this system.
Soon, maybe other countries are going to be paying for it. I'm just saying, with the tariffs, with the tariffs, if we're getting a good deal on tariffs, and we're going to start having a lot of money come to this country. So it's going to be American generated money, but not necessarily just from taxpayers. I really hope that Trump eventually gets rid of taxes for everybody. That would be amazing. But I don't think Democrats or Republicans in Congress are ever going to allow that to happen.
And 90% of the detention money is going to private facilities. We're literally paying corporations to lock up vulnerable people, and even when centers sit empty, like the ones in California, costing us $85 million a year, the checks still go out. Here's the real kicker, though. These companies aren't just collecting our taxpayer money. They're using taxpayer money to rig the system. Geo Group donated over $700,000 to Trump-aligned PACs. CoreCivic threw in $500,000 to Trump's inauguration. Why? It's because back in 2019, Trump pushed for 100,000 detention beds. These companies saw billion dollar signs floating in the air, and they're still profiting under both the Republicans and the Democrats.
Yeah, why companies are allowed to donate to the people they want. And yeah, it makes sense. If you were rich, you were in position to make $2 billion this year, as opposed to your regular paycheck or less, all by donating $50 to one candidate or the other. Wouldn't you do it? Because that's the way it is to them. That's like them donating $50 because how much money they make. And they knew donating that $50 was going to help them possibly get billions. So yeah, that's kind of the way it works. Why do you think all the rich people donate to Democrats? Because they align more with their values. That's just the way the system works.
You follow the money here. Think about what that means. Every additional detainee.
But I will say, even though that's how it works, these people that are getting money donated to them are not supposed to feel one way or another about it. Which personally, if we want to fix that problem, okay, you donated, but let's hide the donations. Let's make them to where donations aren't public. Oh, but then that creates a problem too, right? Is there a way to make sure that the person running never knows about it without, keeping it from being public? I mean, because that would be ideal, right? Is to make sure politicians running don't know where their donations are coming from. So that way they can't feel one way or another about it.
Is profit signs. Every mother separated from their child. Every asylum seeker is being locked away. And human lives are being reduced to line items on a corporate balance sheet. The conditions inside of these centers, there's reports of abuse, medical neglect, overcrowding, and deaths. And all of it is being funded by taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, there's always reports. Because there's always people complaining. And because we live in America, we're going to allow people to formally complain. That's the way it works.
If this makes you as furious as it makes me, please share this video. Call your representatives and demand an end to for-profit detention. No corporation should profit off of human misery. Be sure to follow along as I continue to post updates on this story.
Tell us the
This is the most evil
alternative.
thing that our government's doing
You
right now,
know,
and not a
Well,
single soul
this
is
is the
talking.
other thing. They always, tell us what the problem is, but they never tell us the solution. And it's ridiculous. It's like, okay, you don't want these private detention centers, but we're still deporting people. So what's your answer? Shall we go one way and just be like, no, we're not detaining them anymore. If we arrest them, they're being deported immediately. We could do that. Or what you probably want is, no, just don't arrest anybody. Don't deport anybody. We don't need to. Doesn't matter. All right, what about the criminals? They're being deported. Even if we weren't deporting all illegals and we were only deporting really bad criminals, then we'd still need detention centers. Should we build them? Should the government build more? Should the government build more facilities? What's the answer? When I think of a problem that I think is going on in the world, like minimum wage. Okay, at the end of this video, you'll see my video about minimum wage because, minimum wage is a problem. And if you try to raise minimum wage, companies are just going to raise their prices. So it's a problem. And I have a way to fix that. It's just an idea, but I think it would work. So you'll see that at the end of this video. But this guy is, I don't think he's looking at every side of things either. I think he's just leading with his emotions. And he's not thinking logically and not caring about logistics. It's like, I don't care. I think this is wrong. You should stop this. So what are the alternatives? What way should we go instead? You can't just be a naysayer. You have to be someone, if you're saying, no, this is wrong, you need to try to give some sort of solution. You could say, hey, I don't know the solution, but you have to give your perspective on it. You need to at least let us know that you're willing to find a solution instead of just, no, I feel bad about it. Let's not do it. Because there's a reason it's happening. So you need to talk about all aspects of it. You can't just say, okay, no, stop this. He's basically saying stop deportations, but what's the alternative? Okay, we could cut this down, but even during Biden, it was 1.6 billion. Okay, so there has to be another solution because even Democrats would still have this. So this, I would agree. Yeah, it's a government problem. It's an issue that we have. We should not be paying them so much. They shouldn't be making billions off of detaining people. It's just a little ridiculous. Yeah, you can. I just watched this. You can definitely self-deport. Yeah.
There is some
Then we
rhetoric
won't have
out
the
there
prison
that
problem.
some of the people who have been detained, arrested in detention are not criminals or do not have a criminal history. Can you address that? There's a lot of rhetoric out there that claims...
Well, there's a lot of rhetoric and there's a lot of false information and a lot of fake news. So I'd appreciate it if you guys would start covering the facts. And we'll get you all that information that we possibly can. Now, there may be people that because of the targets that we were out there arresting, that were with those individuals, they were collaterals that were spending time with them, and all those people will be vetted. And remembering, still in the United States, if you come into this country illegally, you have committed a crime. And so when you do that, we have to go through and follow the law and make sure that we're adjudicating that and dealing with that appropriately. So the president's targets and priorities are the criminals that have perpetuated violence. But also, once again, I'm going to remind everybody, you have the opportunity to self-deport.
There's some...
You can self-deport. That's the answer to that prison problem. Hey, all y'all that are illegal, all y'all that are not supposed to be here, all y'all that are not supposed to be here and you're criminals, just leave the country for us. That way we don't have to have those prisons and stuff and facilities, And also, Democrats hate that the shoe is on the other foot. It's like, no, y'all were against following laws if you didn't like them. But now this administration is like, no, we're following all the laws. These are the laws. These are the ones. This is what we're supposed to be doing. So we're going to do it. Democrats like, no, just don't pay attention to those laws. Don't follow those laws. And if you have integrity, no, you follow the laws. If you have any integrity, you will follow the laws. I feel bad for you if you don't. And I get why people come here and stuff, but hey, being illegal is a crime. All right, y'all, that's all for today. Yeah, take a look at the video up here on, I don't know what side of the screen. On the left side of the screen. And that's the one on minimum wage. It's interesting theory on how we could fix it, but I don't think officials would like that because it gives too much power to the working class. Because then it would control inflation. It would control wages. It would control housing. It would control everything. So yeah, have a look, and I'll see y'all next time.